Hello one and all, welcome to another instalment from the channel that is Jono's Graveyard Jaunts. If you are enjoying the content of the channel so far, can I please ask you to like and subscribe and hit the notifications button, i.e. the bell icon, which lets you as the viewer know when I'm next uploading to YouTube. Today's video is about another of Leicester's very own sons who became a pioneer with regard to the retailing of photographic equipment. The person who features in today's video is a man by the name of Frank Jessop, who originally trained as a pharmacist and who, as a result of his interest in photography, developed the retail photographic chain known as Jessops. In today's video I shall talk about the rise and the subsequent fall of Jessops. I will visit the site where the first Jessop store was opened in 1935 on Oxford Street in the city of Leicester. I will also visit the site on Hinckley Road in Leicester, where Jessops had a store that was opened in the 1970s and at the time was the biggest retail photography shop at 20,000 square foot, as nominated by the Guinness Book of Records. There are no burial records of Frank Jessop anywhere that I could find in the public domain, so I do not know where his final resting place is. So if we look at a bit of background then, the earliest surviving photograph dates from 1827 and required an exposure time of over 8 hours. It was then another 70 years before a man by the name of George Eastman learned to make photographic film, and it took until the turn of the century before the Brownie arrived. Now the Brownie camera itself changed everything, finally bringing photography to the masses. In 1935, Frank Jessop opened the first store here on Oxford Street in the city of Leicester.
So if you look at where the Londis supermarket is, guys, that's the original Jessop's premises that was opened in 1935. It's a very noisy road, as you can hear the traffic. What I want you to do is to look at the shape of the building on the left, look at the drain pipe on the right hand side and the clips, and then look at the window ledges and you'll see that's clearly the right building. I'll put a picture up, and the picture was taken probably in about the 70s, judging by the clothing, the style of clothing people are wearing. But this was the first shop that Jessop opened in 1935 on Oxford Street in Leicester.
The company initially reaped the rewards of the boom in digital cameras, investing heavily in digital technology as the medium took over from traditional film. And by 2001, the number of Jessop's branches on the high street had swelled to more than 200. A year later, Jessop's announced it was to open a further 40 stores, creating 400 new jobs and taking the total of stores to more than 250.
This in the 1970s, guys, was Jessop's store, and it was the largest store with over 20,000 square foot retail space. And that was documented in the Guinness Book of Records, and obviously it's a Tesco supermarket, as you can see now.
As Britain's only specialist nationwide camera retailer, it sold brands including Canon, Fuji, Kodak, Nikon, Olympus and Sony. As well as offering a wide range of digital cameras and accessories, the company provided a service for customers to develop digital pictures in its stores and introduced Jessop's branded paper for home printing. And along with camera equipment, the business also stocked digital and analog camcorders, binoculars and darkroom studio equipment. The firm had ceased being a family-run business in 1996 after Alan Jessop retired, and it was sold in a management buyout. In 2002, Dutch bank ABN AMRO's venture capital arm bought Jessops for £160 million. But by the middle of the decade, the company began to struggle to compete when other high street and internet competitors entered the market. And the firm that had been begun by Frank Jessop in 1935 closed its 187 branches in 2013, including the original Leicester store. The brand was bought by a group including Dragon's Den Star, Peter Jones, and some stores across the UK reopened, but not the one in Leicester. So what led to the decline of Jessops then? There are a few factors. Jessop clearly expanded the business too quickly, like Thomas Cook did, hoovering up lots of retail space to a peak of over 187 stores by 2013. Now, retail space coupled with expensive wages is a huge outlay for a business. Jessops also failed to position themselves correctly in the marketplace. They sold budget and mid-range digital cameras but offered little in the way of high-end specialist equipment for serious photographers. Now, the camera market itself had been declining since 2010, where at its peak over 121 million units were sold a year, and the reason for this was the advent of the smartphone cameras, as that were becoming just as good, and therefore a second camera was no longer required. Frank Jessop, the founder of Jessops, passed away peacefully aged 96 at his home in Croxton, Leicestershire on Christmas Eve. Given his tremendous passion for photography, it was this element of the business which quickly grew, and the Leicester store was to be the first in a network of photographic stores trading as Jessops of Leicester. Frank Jessop left behind a widow Laura, 3 children, 9 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. Now that concludes the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Can I please ask you to like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell icon, and please put a comment in the comment section below. Thank you for listening and watching.